My name is Dom, 8th generation Arizonan, activist, artist, and I've been working in the campaign world for over 10 years.
I'm Senya. I'm an artist, activist Chicana, and I've been involved in politics for over 10 years. We've both lived in Arizona for a long time.
In Arizona, let's face it, we've got issues. All right, everybody, welcome to the grand reopening of the We've Got Issues video podcast. My name is Dominic, and how are we doing, Senya? Danny, how are we doing?
As good as you can be when you can't go get sushi in your restaurant, but that might be changing soon.
Dude, I got that Safeway sushi all day, dude.
Okay, I'll just have to make do.
All right, Danny, how are you, man?
I'm actually doing quite amazingly, since at the time of recording today, we are celebrating Mexican Independence Day, one of my favorite holidays.
Oh, no!
Wait, what's going on?
It's not... Who wants to educate this fool on Cinco de Mayo not being Mexican Independence?
What are you talking about?
It's a whole other podcast. I don't know.
Mexican Independence Day is on the 15th of September. This is just Cinco de Drinko.
Exactly, that's what we celebrate.
Did anyone get Corona?
Day.
Did anyone get Corona to celebrate? Too soon?
Wow.
Yeah, I think everybody is worried about not getting Corona right now.
Well, apparently, in our first segment, read this. We're finding out that, we're paying the price for years of cuts in Arizona. Arizona spends less on public health than almost any other state in the country. Who would have thought not investing in healthcare would lead to not being prepared for a health crisis?
Turns out when you're number 4 in the whole country on your on your public healthcare spending, you're not going to be very well prepared to respond to a global pandemic.
Makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, kind of tracks. Compounded injustice. Tribal governments have yet to receive the money they are owed from the latest stimulus bill. Money that's much needed during a pandemic that has hit Native communities especially hard. I don't know if you guys have heard, but the Navajo Nation is among the top 4 places in the nation that have been hit the hardest by the coronavirus.
Why does this sound strangely like every other thing that has happened between the United States of America and the tribes of our country?
It's almost as if we have a systematic issue. This is where we are. Tarana Burke and Rebecca Traister offer their thoughts as the progressive movement grapples with Tara Reid's sexual assault allegation against Joe Biden.
So, Tarana Burke has a 14-tweet take on the whole situation. I think people should find the link below to read the whole thing. What I wanted to read was her final tweet in the series. I think it really talks to, where we are with this. It reads, survivors deserve more than being used as a political football by disinterested parties. And a culture of acknowledging harm can't exist if we continue to view sexual violence as a catastrophic outlier rather than an embedded toxic element of our culture.
I think that speaks pretty deeply to how we have to acknowledge that it's embedded into the culture at large in order to be able to really tackle it. Treating it as a one-off thing or treating sexual assault or sexual violence as just an outlier, as an accident, as an anomaly, it keeps us from actually addressing the issue at hand. So Rebecca Traister offered a much longer take in The Cut from New York Magazine. The headline here is, "The Biden Trap as the candidate faces credible assault allegations. His progressive female colleagues are being offered a poisoned chalice." So Rebecca really goes into depth on how if any woman who ends up becoming Biden's vice presidential pick, as progressive or as moderate or whoever she may be, ends up becoming a co-signer to the sexual assault allegations that Biden is coming into. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. There are no good answers here in the vice president, in the choice for whoever ends up becoming the vice presidential pick. Like that woman, that person, the individual who becomes the vice presidential pick is not. They're going to be faced with a number of issues. as Biden faces his sexual assault allegations. So this really goes to show how, one, humans are messy. Two, the political moment right now is complicated, and how deeply entrenched sexual assault is in our culture and in our political system. There are no real good answers to this entire situation, and it's an embattled one. It's an embattled situation. However, these two takes are a pretty good place to start to try to understand and disentangle it a little bit. So moving on from politics nationwide to 10 years ago in Arizona, resilience in the desert. One Arizona tells the story of the fight against Arizona's infamous racial profiling law, SB 1070, and everything that's happened in the decades since. So this is actually a project that we had the privilege and honor of working on. We helped One Arizona put together some of the highlights of the journey that we've taken from SB 1070, some of the victories that we've been able to have, and kind of where collectively our movement wants to be in the next 10 years.
Yeah, I really enjoyed. We got to interview. What did we interview? 21 people?
27, I think.
27 people. And in my opinion, we needed to interview another 27 to really capture the story that I wanted to capture. But then, what could we do with all that footage really was the question we started to ask ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of got a little bit away from ourselves because both of us have spent such a long time, one, with the people in this community, and two, thinking about how immigration and how kind of all of that is intertwined with each other, and how the livelihoods and well-being of our communities are all intersecting.
Yeah.
So anyway,
but I really like how the website turned out.
Yeah, we made a good website. We
with our friends over at
Anthony and Marcus at Obvious, Monse at One Arizona. Special thanks to Emily from Progress Now, and Abril from Lucha, and Aridelsi from Lucha.
This was a huge, we got to help One Arizona with this project. One Arizona is the source for this website.
Yeah, check it out. We're actually finishing up a 3-part mini doc series to be a companion to Resilience in the Desert.
Yeah.
The first of the videos is up online. We're actually going to show you a trailer to it now.
Yeah.
10 years ago, we were sitting here at this lawn, and we said SB 1070 was going to be the end of divisive anti-immigrant legislation. And today, we proved that we keep our promise. Sí se puede, sí se puede, sí se puede, sí se puede.
Launching at the same time as this video is going to be part 2 of that 3-part series, and coming really soon is part 3. So part 2 is going to go into the 10 years of building power and how we built that power and the struggle that we faced in our community as we built that power. And part 3 is going to, be more of a celebration of our wins, and, that the fight isn't over. Obviously we aren't where we want to be, especially nationally. It feels like all the things that we are making progress on solving in our state has just gone national, and now we need to fight it nationally. So that doesn't mean we shouldn't celebrate the wins we've had, but it definitely means that we can't get comfortable and we can't stop fighting.
Yeah, complacency is our enemy here, and we, like our haters here in our state, like the legislators, the legislators here built the model for hate that has now gone national.
Right.
We, in fighting them, have built the model for overcoming this hate.
In our next section, listen up. This company failed us. Workers at Amazon, Target, Instacart, and other companies organized strikes on Friday to demand better pay and working conditions, including protective equipment and paid time off.
So Friday was May Day, and it couldn't have been a better day for this strike. There was a nationwide call to stop buying at Amazon, stop buying at Target, don't order groceries just for this one day, in order to demonstrate the power of the worker. They've been demanding better protective equipment. They know that they're vital in this crisis. They have not been treated as the professionals that they are. They haven't been given the equipment needed for them to be healthy and successful at their work, and we're all depending on them right now.
This may be a rarity in today's world, but we actually had a vice president, one of Amazon's top officials, agree with us in this sort of case. Just this past week, Tim Bray, who was engineer and a vice president at Amazon, resigned, citing that he also didn't think that it was fair the way that workers were being treated, and also citing that workers have been getting fired for complaining about working conditions and bringing them to light, sort of, whistleblower type stuff. And he saw that going on from the inside. He thought it was wrong. So yes, he has effectively resigned and is no longer a part of Amazon.
Wow, dude.
I think this is just one example of how workers' rights have been chipped away at in our country, and we're at a moment where we're all kind of realizing how screwed we are a little bit, and there's no better way to deal with it than for us to come together, unionize, organize, and make sure that we have each other's backs.
See.
So next up, Phoenix is sitting on $293 million of relief for families. Mayor Gallego and councilors Nowakowski, Williams, Stark, and Waring voted against releasing money for COVID relief in Tuesday, May 5th City Council meeting. This money could pay for food and housing for struggling families, particularly those out of work due to the pandemic. It was honestly surprising to see the list of councilors that voted against releasing some of this relief.
I like some of these people.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. And $293 million is a chunk of change, and it can honestly go a long way to help some of the families, at least in the short term. And out of a city budget, it really isn't a whole lot of money.
Right. But it could go a long way to help people who need it.
It's food on the table. It's roof over heads. It's making sure that kids have diapers and families are taken care of.
You know what? What I'm happy about, and what I'm happy about in all of our shows, and what the good folks over at Progress Now prepare for us, is that every episode we're going to have a section where we're doing something about it in our Do This section. One of the big things that we're trying to do right now is raise $1 million, I think is the goal. I don't know if we'll hit $1 million. I hope we do. So far, we've raised around $150,000 to help undocumented families make it through. The Arizona Undocumented Workers Relief Fund will help undocumented families, many of whom don't qualify for stimulus checks or unemployment, to meet their basic needs. They're on their own, and we're trying to step in so their families aren't falling through the cracks. Please donate now. One Arizona is matching all gifts up to $50,000. So if you donate right away, it's like you're donating twice as much. The link is
going to be in the show notes.
In the show notes below.
Another way to get involved is to give to the Phoenix Mutual Aid Network. This Saturday from 8 to 11, the Phoenix Mutual Aid Network is taking donations to assist in COVID relief. Donations of phone charger cables, tablets, iPads, extension cords, power strips, plastic tubs, and large storage containers are urgently needed. Join the network of volunteers to give aid in the greater Phoenix area. Curbside drop-off in the show notes.
For this next section, we're going to phone a friend. We're going to have them call us.
So there was a moment earlier today. We got a very convenient call from some of our friends at Lucha, Living United for Change in Arizona.
Yeah.
Do you want to just play the clip?
Well, first, let me talk about what they asked me. I think it's a very important question. They asked me if I had heard about what Doug Ducey recently did, trying to reopen things in the state in order to spur the economy by putting lives at risk. So he's saying it's cool, just go ahead and let a bunch of people sit in a barber chair and get a haircut. You think that's like worth risking your life to have good hair? I guess for some people.
I've never, ever, ever had a hairstylist style my hair from 6 feet away. I don't know how you would even make that possible.
Have you ever seen Edward Scissorhands?
I mean, that's an anomaly and shouldn't be chosen as an example.
That's only like 3 feet, right? Even with a long arm span, how far could that be?
I mean, those topiary bushes that he trimmed looked freaking great, but yes.
Voila.
Edward is not working at your local barbershop.
So, when I was asked if I agreed with Ducey's move to start reopening businesses around the state again, I obviously answered, no, I do not agree with that.
After hearing from our community members, Lucha has created the People's Bailout. And like I said before, the community believes this is the best way to ensure families can stay home as we battle the COVID-19, but also helps us make sure we don't have to worry about rent, food, shelter, and that we can receive paid leave during this time. and we want to make sure we gather as many signatures for the petition to do C2C and implement this policy demand. And I was wondering if you could sign it. I could go ahead and send you the link to your phone number, and you can check it out.
Yeah, can you tell us can you tell me the link out loud too, please?
Yeah, no problem. Let me go ahead and type it down so I can read it to you to make sure this is the right one. Give me one
Cool.
second. Okay, awesome. So the link would be Lucha,
Mm-hmm.
and then AZ,
Okay.
like Arizona, AZ,
Okay.
.org / People's Bailout.
People's Bailout. So luchaaz.org / People's Bailout.
That is correct.
Cool.
So with you guys and your newfound friends over here, what do you guys think of this being outside of the studio and recording from our homes? Complying with the whole social distancing thing?
I mean, I think it's working all right. We still have all the equipment.
Yeah.
We have a couple of unexpected guests every once in a while, but I don't
Yeah.
think it's too bad.
I think someone, saved the neighborhood new kittens and brought them home.
Yeah, they're taking over our house, and Danny is not happy about it.
Free cats to literally anybody.
They're precious, and they're socialized. But
All
they
right.
poop everywhere.
We've got issues. Would like to thank Progress Now Arizona, Living United for Change in Arizona, the Puente Human Rights Movement, One Arizona, Obvious, and everyone who sat for interviews for the Resilience in the Deserts Project.
We've Got Issues was written by our friends at Progress Now Arizona, with collaboration by Dom and Xenia. Sound and video provided by Danny Orona and Sun Digital. Theme music by Dom Medina. Edited by Dom Medina. Cat wrangling by Xenia Orona. We've Got Issues is a Fuerte Network production.
Bye.
Bye!